Hello and welcome to Northants Authors YouTube channel. I'm Morgan Bailey, one of the authors of Northants Authors, and just here to tell you a little bit about us. We are a cooperative of mainly self-published but also traditionally published authors who live within the county of Northamptonshire, England, and have books, whether it's ebooks or paperbacks, for sale. We attend local events and it's great meeting our public. And of course they love the fact that they can have books signed by us to keep and read themselves or to give as presents. This series is a little way of getting to know us better and hear extracts from our books. I hope you enjoy. We hope you enjoy them. Hello, I'm Morgan Bailey. I've written several novels, romance and crime, and 8 collections at the moment of short stories. I'm going to read a couple of connected stories from my selected shorts collection, little sort of greatest hits, and one of them, the second story, is featured in Happily Never After, in about the middle bit. Okay, the first one is Once the Love's Gone, and they both feature the same couple. As it wobbled, April looked at her husband's tooth, and her heart sank. When had things started to go wrong? When had he let himself go? You should really see the dentist, she said for the umpteenth time, but had known the answer before she'd spoken. It'll come out of its own accord. She'd given up saying that it didn't need to, that technology had moved on, and the sooner, that's as far as she'd ever got. So she'd sit at the kitchen table reading her book, a half-hour respite until the oven timer would set her back into action. She'd read about the exotic lives of the film stars she'd only ever see on the television, watched when he was down the pub, too drunk, too busy to take her to the cinema in town. April had had an exotic life once, before she'd met him, a handsome young farmer at the local dance. She'd spent the summers picking vines in France, liaisons in the Louvre, backpacking around Europe until her money had run out. Then home to reality, her parents, college, a real job in an office, before the farm became her life. As she read her book, she heard him shouting at the TV, answers to quiz shows or an early football match. He'd slap his hand down on the chair's arm, hitting wood through worn-away foam. It reminded her of when he'd slap her backside, gently, in a playful rather than sexual manner, although she'd give anything for either right now. She wondered whose backside he was slapping these days. Cindy or Emily down the old bull would tolerate it, knowing it came with the territory. Barbara at the Haven actively encouraging, knowing it usually led to higher tips. This had been one of the nails in the Milton marital coffin, the affection and the money divided elsewhere, like an affair but without the adultery. April sure of his fidelity despite appearances, his battle with cancer becoming a battle with her, a silent one, the throat cancer that hadn't robbed him of his voice, just his passion. She knew it was an act with the other women, but it hurt all the same. "What's for dinner?" he grumbled, shuffling through to get a beer from the fridge. "Steak and ale pie." April waited for a reaction, but none was forthcoming. She'd chosen his favourite for the alcohol in it. She'd added extra to be sure, would assure her of a quiet evening. Quiet, other than his snoring, while slumped in the armchair if he didn't make it to the pub. April thought back to the day they'd brought the chair, an odd addition to their old two-piece suite. "But I like it," he groaned, when she'd suggested something more neutral. The pattern of the suite, long discontinued. She thought the armchair hideous, but over the years it had hidden the stains of the beer and meals he'd taken through, then rushed to eat, eager to meet the lads down the pub. The lads being Ernie and Bert, who'd still be eating their dinners while chatting with their wives, long after he'd arrived, so he'd spend his time leching at the bimbos, his loose tooth wobbling in its socket, not bothering anyone but April. She wondered if that meant she still cared, but if she now enjoyed seeing him in pain, was it enjoyment or pity? She couldn't put her finger on it, but one thing she knew was that it was no longer concern, no longer love, And once the love's gone, there are decisions to be made, actions to be taken, and she knew she had to be the one to make them. And now this is April's Fool, which is featured in Happily Never After. Her wrinkled right hand clasps the side of the bowl, while her left beats the mixture. April thinks of her husband and growls. She pictures him downing his beer, chatting to friends, lecturing at the bimbos by the bar, and smiling, his loose tooth wobbling in its socket. As she adds the final ingredient, her hand beats faster to match her brain. The spoon clanks against the glass bowl, and a small dollop of pudding flies over the top. "Damn it," she says, and uses a cloth to wipe up the green, slimy goo. She stares at the clock and growls again. He'll be on his 9th pint by now, and he never stops at single numbers. Thumping down the bowl, another blob escapes. This time she grabs one of his clean vests off the chair to her left, wipes up the spillage, then neatly folds the vest with the newly acquired marks hidden, and puts it on top of a pile of freshly ironed clothes. She smiles, turns, then pulls open the fridge door, oblivious to the sound of the seals peeling apart. She makes a space for the clear Pyrex bowl and dumps it on the shelf, letting it clunk against the plastic-covered metal bars. Grabbing a bag of homegrown mixed veg out of the salad drawer, she slams the door to, reuniting the seals, which kiss shut. Ignoring the greens, she selects the carrots, which she peels roughly before slicing them lengthways into delicate strips. They lie on the chopping board in disorderly lines, but the regiment leaps to attention as they're boiled alive, joining the salted peas cowering at the bottom of the saucepan. Carrying the laundry, she stomps upstairs and into his bedroom. She opens the wardrobe door, supporting it as she does so, cursing at the loose hinge, which she's nagged him about time and again. She hooks a hangered shirt over the rail, smoothing its sleeve down as it catches on its neighbour. Her right foot knocks against a battered suitcase, and as she lifts the door to shut it in place, she smiles again and returns to the kitchen, bobbing her head as she ducks under the beam. With the vegetables cooked, she bashes the boiled potatoes to within an inch of their lives, then finishes them off with a fork as she lays the mash on top of the mince, and skims the fork in smooth, long strokes back and forth, emulating her husband ploughing his field. After sprinkling a cheddar topping, she returns the clear dish to the oven and lowers the heat. There'll be hell to pay if his dinner gets burned. She scrapes the peelings, gooseberry tops and tails, into the compost bucket, then crashes the pots and pans into the sink, as if the louder the noise, the better she feels. She looks at the clock and sighs. He'll be back soon. April checks the pudding in the fridge, shaking the bowl to check the content's solidity. The recipe says leave to cool, but she's getting impatient. The kitchen door swings open and he wobbles in. He's got tart red lipstick on his cheek, just above the nick where he caught himself shaving that morning. "Dinner ready, woman," he yells as he kicks off his boots as if she's miles away, not just the other side of the farmhouse kitchen. "Sit down, it's on its way," is the only order she dares to make, but it does the trick. He shouts, "Get me a beer, April," and it duly appears. April somewhat surprised that the woman is now personalised. She watches him eat, and it puts her off her food. The shepherd's pie is thrown down his throat at the same speed as his drink, and he isn't fussed which he has. His mouth greets one while still full of the other. A dribble of beer rolls down his chin, and April's stomach lurches. She clears away the plates and goes to the fridge. The dessert is extracted and dispensed into 2 single-portion glass dishes. He looks down at his and belches. "What's this?" he asks, before issuing another. "It's gooseberry." She pauses. "Fool." The delay quite deliberate. "Don't call me no damn fool, woman." He scrapes back his chair and faces her, just inches between them, before she turns away from his beery breath. "No, that's what it is. Gooseberry fool." And she turns to the sink, mumbling, though it takes one to know one, just out of earshot as he sits back down. Saying louder, "It's extra sweet, just how you like it," she leaves him to eat his dessert and finish his beer. Removing her wedding ring, she rinses the plates under the hot tap, empties the washing up bowl and refills it with warm soapy water. Ignoring him as he leaves the kitchen, she hears the TV start up. No doubt he'll soon be shouting at the screen, to Jeremy Paxman or one of his guests, some politician or other. She can feel the water softening her rough hands, and once the plates and cutlery are washed, she puts the palms flat on the bottom of the bowl until she can feel her fingers wrinkle. Turning back to the table, April picks up his empty dish, an accompanying spoon, and throws them into the bowl. The water splashes against the tiled walls behind the sink, but she doesn't care. She's past all that. For a moment she remembers their early years, and the husband who used to take her on holidays, would remember their anniversary and kiss her good night in the bed they shared, his bed now. She hears his moans of indigestion from the other room, and a smile slowly comes to her face when it finally sinks in that she won't have to put up with him much longer. With the washing up done, April goes upstairs, leaving the dishes to dry. She pulls out the old suitcase and begins to pack. She knows what is needed, and it doesn't take her long. She lugs the case down the stairs, but the handle slips from her grasp as she nears the corner, 3 steps from the bottom. The case plummets into the kitchen, and he stomps through to meet it. "What are you doing, woman?" he asks, but she just smiles and looks at the content of the case, which has spilled onto the kitchen floor. He looks down at the clothes, then back at his wife. "April?" is all he can say, as she tilts her head towards the back door. "I've been a fool long enough. It's time to go." Her face as hard as his heart. He walks towards her, but she backs away. She looks at him, the case, the cascade of clothes, then at the door again. He opens his mouth to speak or belch, April isn't sure which, but he closes it again. She stares. He sighs. As she closes the door behind her, her grip tightens on the suitcase handle. She walks up the path towards their car, and a row of pink sweet peas either side of her bid her farewell. She thinks of the holiday that's been long overdue, and as she drives off towards the hills, she wonders how long it will take the police to find his body.